南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。We pay homage to our respected teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha. Good evening, everyone. So today we are looking at page 17, 16 and 17. So this is the picture. Beautiful tree. Who knows the name of this tree? Where is this tree? Po Lam, Laurie said, yes. Who knows the name of this tree? Okay, unmute them, please. Okay, Catherine, what did you say? Catherine Chen, what did you say? Catherine Chen from San Francisco.
Bodhi tree?
Golden tree?
No.
Bodhi tree. No, Bodhi tree doesn't grow in. Bodhi tree doesn't grow in China. It can't survive. Laurie. Maple tree. Wrong. Boom. Wrong.
Oak tree.
Boom. Wrong.
No oak tree?
No.
No.
Where is this tree?
Oh, yes.
Where is this tree? In the yard, right? So what's the name of this tree? Not Bodhi, not oak, not maple.
Pretty tree.
Pretty tree? Oh, yeah, very pretty tree. That's a new name to that tree. Okay, come on.
A chestnut.
A what? A jasmine tree?
Chestnut.
Chestnut tree?
Chestnut.
No, chestnut tree doesn't grow, well, it grows that big, but it takes, 200 years for a chestnut tree to be that big. No. Boom!
Walnut tree.
Walnut.
Walnut tree, boom! Wrong. What did, somebody say something?
Tulip.
Huh? Yeah, Paul?
Tulip.
Tulip tree?
Tulip tree.
Yeah! It is. Oh, why are you so shocking? It's not a tulip flower, but it's a tulip tree. Oh, isn't it nice? You learn a new thing a day. Tisa, you don't believe that?
Maple tulip.
No, it's not called maple tulip.
It is not maple tulip.
It's a tulip tree, isn't it?
No, you told us.
No, you told us. You went to ask Brian Minter.
What? I did? You were told to send a Bible name.
Sorry, Tisa, I don't speak Pali. I can tell you I only know the generic name. I don't know the botanical name. It's called maple tulip?
No. I think so.
No, I think it's called tulip tree. Yeah,
Tree, okay.
tulip, T-U-L-I-P. And then a space, and then T-R-E-E.
I see.
And it is situated, in the backyard of our existing little house. That big tree, you can see it from the bridge. It's called a tulip tree. And it's almost, I could say, 30 feet tall. Right, Paul?
Probably 60 feet tall.
60 feet. Oh, wow. 60 feet tall. And now it's got a baby. 2 babies on the left-hand side of it. Yeah, two baby trees, 2 years old. It started last year, and this year is really tall now. It's called tulip tree, and there is the tulip flower, the tulip tree flowers here. Come on. Tulip flower appears. No. Huh? Yeah. Page 47. This is the tulip flower. 47. Did you see it? That is the flower of this tree. Isn't it pretty? 47. Yes, 47. So, look. It's so pretty. It looks like a lotus. And in the center there is a pot, but on their petals it's got yellow, green, light green, orange. Oh, so pretty, this flower. That's called a tulip flower on the tree. Okay? Mali, you want to say something?
So we were looking at the phone, and it says it's called the American tulip tree.
This is a Canadian tulip tree, not American. Canadian, definitely Canadian.
North American, let's say North American.
North America, yeah, it's in Chilliwack, Po Lam. You know, actually, there are quite a few of these trees in Vancouver. After I found out the name of this tree, and when I went to Vancouver, actually I saw quite a few, but I have never seen that tree, any of those Vancouver trees with blooms, with flowers. Actually, I took this big picture many years ago. And then one day I walk around, I saw how come there are so many like pots on the ground, and I just looked up. Wow, the whole tree was filled with all these beautiful flowers. So I grabbed my camera out and took this beautiful picture on page 47. Go. Okay, we go back to this wonderful North American tulip tree. Which is situated in Chilliwack, Po Lam. And it's called Po Lam Chilliwack Tulip Tree. Or Chilliwack Po Lam Tulip Tree. Okay, what do you see from this? What do you see in this picture? How do you feel about this tree? Yeah, Titania.
Thank you, Sifu. Well, I was pretty impressed looking at this photo because I see myself. Like the branches, I always try to search and venture out, seeking something I thought I lacked, going here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
So in fact, the most important part is the trunk,
Yeah.
the inner self.
Yeah.
And I should look inward and cultivate my trunk, my core, and then things can flourish. I hope, finger crossed, and I'm starting my baby steps now. Hopefully I can bear flowers one day.
Oh yeah, you already started to bear flowers. I mean, yeah, looking at you this time than you last year when you first started meditating with us. I still remember, the first few days that you were sitting with us. I felt so sorry for you. You were suffering so much pain and fidgeting and everything, right? And now you actually, your efforts bear fruits already. I think you actually experienced it yourself, and you told us once, right, that you actually mended the relationship with your mother, and you're actually enjoying the time with her, and that's already bearing fruits. You see? Yeah, wonderful, great. Keep it going. Keep it going. Yes, good, wonderful sharing. Okay, anybody else? Yeah, my phone. Yes.
Yes, Sifu, I see protection.
Protection.
Yes, I would like to be a big tree in, I don't know at what time, that planted
Yeah,
well
yeah.
and protect the people.
Ah, giving them shade, eh? Yeah, great, wonderful, good, nice, good. Hello? Hello? Anybody else? Hello?
Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy. Yeah. Okay, and then Marla. Okay. Yeah, Jeremy.
So I see the strong trunk and so deep roots, and because it's strong, all the branches coming off of it, and searching out for more light yet still. Because it's got that strong base to start from.
Yeah.
Right? It's been built strong, so it can reach out and grow.
Yeah, propel itself, right? To propagate more. Yeah, great, wonderful. Marla.
Yes, this tree reminds me of beautiful Po Lam.
Thank you.
You said that it is in Po Lam, and I miss it there. It's so special there. So yeah,
You
when
come.
I look at the book,
Yeah.
I love to look at the book because it just makes my heart very happy.
Good. Aren't you coming to Chulawak soon?
No, I cannot. My husband says no because
of COVID.
of the
Okay.
But soon.
Soon.
I have great faith.
Yep. Soon. Okay. Anybody else? What did you see from this tree? Anybody from here? Catherine Chen from San Francisco. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Actually, I want to be a tree. You see, with a tree, even with a little, like the morning dew,
Yeah.
then it can grow.
It can grow.
With all this, just like the cemented road.
Yeah.
And if there's a crack, right? You think that the ground is cemented and nothing will grow from it.
Oh, a tree. Yeah.
Okay, there's a crack, and I took I don't know if you can see. Oh, maybe not.
I can.
From the picture, the wild weed or the flower, there's a flower growing from it. So that means even though to attaining Buddhahood or the path, it's not easy. But if there's a way, just like the crack in the cemented ground, then it will grow, and we still have hope.
Yes.
And that also triggered me a saying today when I heard, the Hong Kong, the former chief executive, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He was in prison. And then somebody interviewed him about his life in prison. And he said, my cup overflowed. Meaning during the 8 years in prison, he was so contented. Every day within the cell, he do his exercise and he read, and he's a Catholic. He prayed, talked to God. And then he found out that before he was the chief executive of Hong Kong, what he was looking for, the kind of satisfaction, is from if you do something good, you got compliment, then people praise you, and then you're contented, you're satisfied. But he find out that this is just outside. But if we can have inner peace, then the peace, it just overflow. It's just like the cup. He said, my cup overflow. Yeah, that's why I'm so thankful that Sifu is going to the present, and then all those people meditation. So all of them will find really inner peace, which is what we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, our cups are also overflow because we see people changing for the better. Yeah. Now every week we almost have almost all the time we have two calls with inmates in the prison. One in Saskatoon, and one in the Fraser Valley. So supporting them. It seems that we are supporting them. But actually, they allow us to actually support them. They actually, a lot of times, they share their stories, which are actually very inspiring, and also allowing us to see the better side of humanity, and to see the bright side of human nature. That every being has a possibility. It's possible that every being could be free, and it's actually very hopeful. I was just thinking about the prison today. I said, I don't know. It's been 2 years now. Well, 1 year and 3 months that we haven't been back. 15 months now. So maybe at the end of second year they probably will allow us back. I don't know how many of them will still be there. Whom we know that will still be there, we don't know. So it's just life changes so fast. So, but anyway, yeah. Okay, anybody has anything to share about this tree? Yes, Varsha? Yes.
Good evening, Sifu.
Evening.
So this tree actually reminds me of an Emily Carr, a Canadian artist, or BC artist actually, and she always paints her trees like this. And there's lots of energy in the tree. We think of a tree as something sort of static, but this tree is actually, there's a lot of energy, and it's connecting the sky and the ground, and that sort of whole connection.
Yes.
Piece.
It's a whole world in there, isn't it? There's a whole world in there. Different kind of beings, insects, birds, invisible beings, whole world in there, and plants and everything. And underneath the roots, in the roots too, right? So, yeah. This is such a beautiful tree, especially when you stand just below it and just look up. It looks like it stretches into the infinite. It's so powerful. This tree is very, very pretty, and it's also very beautiful, really. But when it changes color, when it started from the winter to now the spring. And then from spring into summer is really flourishing. It's really thick leaves. And because it needs a lot of water. And so a few years ago when we were actually very short of water, it's got a lot of bugs, aphids. And then so the leaves actually turn yellow. And so we actually bought a lot of ladybugs from America. Really, from USA, hundreds of them, and release them into the tree, because that's what Brian Minter told us, that put ladybugs in there, you will probably help them. But I think, that time the infestation with the aphids really was too bad, really bad. But it survived. And the next year we knew that actually it needs a lot of water, so we keep watering it, with a drip hose, and for a few hours every day. Just let the water seeps into the ground. And it actually overcomes that aphis by itself. So, we can see such a strong tree actually is the metaphor of our mind. It could be a metaphor of our mind. If our mind is grounded, very, very strongly developed and very strongly into the ground, and we can fight off any disease. We can fight off any challenges. I mean, aphis infestation is, exterior challenges. But that's actually similar to our challenges that we face. The tree facing the same challenges as we do, right? The wind, the rain, the storm, the lightning, the insects, the birds pecking on it, and human not looking after it. Yeah, everything. The challenges that they face, actually we face that. We face similar challenges too, right? So great, nice. Anybody wants to say anything more about this tree before we go on? Yes, Laurie, please.
Oh, and Tis and Molly after.
Okay.
Well, I always thought it was a variety of maple tree, and I have so many wonderful pictures of this tree.
Yes.
Including all the little ladybugs and everything. But when I look at this picture, the first thing I think of is something so big and solid.
Yeah.
With roots that started from a teeny tiny seed.
Yeah.
And so I think of that whole process and all of the conditions that go into over the years.
Yeah.
All of the things, like you were just saying, that this tree has gone through and survived and flourished in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Great picture.
Yeah, great picture. Yes, Mali, Tisa.
I see it as a really sturdy and upright tree. Beautiful to look at, and it gives shade and is a great home for birds and bees.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful tree which we didn't know the name of.
Yeah. This is really one of my favorite pictures. When I look at this picture, I see the power of life in there. The power of life, when we are able to breathe, when we are able to actually have a sound mind. I mean, not necessarily just a sound mind. It's a mind that allows us to utilize, if we could utilize it properly, and in a very sensible way. It's just like this tree, supporting all those branches and all those leaves to propagate itself selflessly. Selflessly. Yeah, not selflessly, selflessly. So, this tree is really selfless to support all these branches, all these leaves, and all other beings which all what will land on it. It's just this tree is just amazing. Come and look at it when the pandemic is over, all right? And say hi to it, and tell it that we have studied you before. We have looked at you in very detail. Okay, great. Anybody else before we go on? Okay, then let us go on. So the passage that comes with this is, most of you have the book. It says, love yourself, bring yourself home, stop wandering. Stop wandering in these cycles of miseries. Come home. Get yourself grounded. Do not drown yourself in those endless cycles of samsara. I think it's just the right passage to go with this picture. Yeah, it's just, we made a great choice to pick this passage to go with this photo. Okay. Love yourself, bring yourself home, and stop wandering in these cycles of miseries. Come home. We actually, when we look at this book in the beginning, it's called The Way to Home book. And we all know that home doesn't mean a physical home. It doesn't mean just a physical home. And it means a home of wisdom and compassion. And a home of really liberation, free of all sufferings. And of course, it is really not a home like this. That home doesn't have any boundary. That home is in the universe. And so, looking at this passage, why is wandering so detrimental or so dangerous? And where do we go when we wander? Where do we go when we wander? Where do we go when you wander? Do you wander? Oh yeah, you bet I do. Where did you go when you wander? Or where do you go when you wander? Or do you know that where you go when you wander? Or do you know that you wander? Everybody nodded their head, the head is going to come out, come off the neck. We do wander, don't we? Yeah, and then where do we go really when we wander? Laurie, yes, and Laurie and then Marla. Laurie first.
I wander after things that I'm craving or trying to avoid, or I go all over the place in my head imagining things, the places that I can go when I wander.
Oh, really?
So,
oh
yeah.
Mexico?
I think
Brazil?
anywhere but right here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, anywhere but right here. Mala, so where do you go? Do you go and see your sister when you wander?
Well, I wish. I miss you so much, Lori. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Lori.
I wander to thinking about death, because we are in plague time, and the Diamond Sutra help, but we think, of the suffering, of the death, but everything lives and dies. There is always this remembering that we die.
Yeah.
So I wander through all the pain and the suffering rather than just understanding that we all die, just like we are born.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Marla. Fong King. Okay.
Okay. Most of the time when I'm aware that I'm wandering, actually I feel that I'm wandering to nowhere.
To nowhere?
Yeah, really wander nowhere.
I see.
Most of the time, we are just the mind is occupied with a lot of the mundane things, daily life, work, or something about other people, about this or that, but nothing really about myself in the heart. However, it's a pity that this takes most of the time in every day.
Yeah. And it's not bearing fruit. I know, yeah.
So that's why back to the tree that we just saw.
every time I love trees a lot,
Yeah.
especially the big trees, because I know that they take a long time to
grow.
that
Yeah.
strong, that powerful,
Yeah.
that grounded. So usually when I go for a trip, in Australia or some other places, we can see really big trees.
Yeah.
Every time I feel so grateful when I see a tree.
I see.
Just like what Wei said, I immediately feel a kind of protection.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will hug them, give a big hug.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Say thank you.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's a moment when you feel that I'm here with the
I'm safe.
tree, with the nature, with myself or whatever, free from all the mundane things that we are wandering after every day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, good, great. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's my feeling. Thank you.
Thank you. I remember, when you said that you go and hug the trees. I remember last year during the pandemic, and we were invited to actually start teaching for a youth addiction house in Chilliwack. And before they open up, actually they send the staff here for meditation and all that. So I remember that their founder is a very young man, and a very sincere, very honest man, but very young, and he is very jumpy. Don't tell him, okay? I hope he's not watching. But anyway, he's very jumpy, and so when he came to meditate, he sort of like is also jumpy too. But anyway, after the first meditation, I think he started to get a glimpse of what is quietude is like. But he said during the pandemic, he used to go into the forest. And in the forest, he see these big trees. And he would go and hug and talk to the trees. Remember that? And he said at that time, he feels so quiet and peaceful. So, that is also a kind of mindfulness, because when you're hugging the tree, you're feeling the tree. And that's a part of your mind working. And because the tree is so embracing, it won't kick you from within. It just, it just allows you to hug it without any defense at all. And trees have energy. The trees themselves have a lot of energy, especially the big trees. They have a lot of different energies. The energy of a tree, the energies of beings, So he said during the pandemic, he always go into the forest and hug the big trees. So this is one of the little stories that I share with you. Okay, Mali.
I was going to say, I wonder if the past or the future are both.
Yeah, right. Yeah, don't we all wandering into those? Yeah, it's true. It's true. Sometimes that wandering.
And when you are not wondering, that is what you call you are being mindful.
Yes. When you're not wondering and knowing and paying attention, and then that is called being mindful. Yeah. So we can actually count in a day, actually how many minutes that we are actually mindful. Don't count how many minutes that you have wandered, but count how many minutes that you are actually mindful. It's quite scary sometimes, But, when I teach mindfulness meditation, I teach walking meditation too, right? And so when I teach walking meditation, I always ask, I teach gradually, probably on day 3 or day 4, I would say, okay, now when you walk from this to there, which is about 25 steps or 30 steps, that's the ideal distance of walking meditation. And I said, then count how many wandering thoughts do you have within that distance and back. And students just shook their head. They can't catch up. They can't catch up with how many thoughts they really that actually have come up during that walking meditation. It's actually quite interesting. You know, if you do go out for walks in the morning or any during the day, train yourself like that. Give yourself a target. You know, from here to that tree. Okay, let me walk mindfully. Try to walk mindfully and feeling each step or feeling the movement of your legs, but see how well you can stay in that mode. Okay, and when you cannot feel that step, that means you have wandered off. If you are actually paying attention to the steps, if you cannot feel the steps, that means you have wandered off. Okay, so yeah, that's where we wander, and why is wandering so detrimental? So that is the scientific part of mind wandering, which actually give us the evidence of the detrimental effect of mind wandering, right? When we wander too much, our longevity will be decreased. Why? Because the telomerase is tremendously decreased. And this is actually this is actually very heated research that has been done in the last 10 years or so. And there are a lot of evidence actually showing that telomeres in meditators are way much more than non-meditators. And with more telomeres, and that means the more telomerase. And with more telomerase, that means as this professor said, the well-being longevity will definitely be in that person. So that's why this is the scientific approach about mind wandering. This is the leaves of the North America tulip tree. These are the leaves of the North America tulip tree. So when we wander off, that means we are not here at this moment. And a lot of times when we do really wander off, we wander into the past. No, not yet. Into the past, into the future. Into the past, into the future, and we forget totally about the present. And when we remember to come back to the present, we have already, don't know, wandered for how long and how far. A lot of times we don't know. Okay, I remember one time when one of my students was smiling from day 1 all the way to day 6. I saw her smiling all the time. And I wonder why she was smiling. She's definitely probably have a very wonderful meditation, right? So that's why she is smiling. But anyway, one day I just couldn't do that anymore. So I asked her to come for an interview. And I said, "Can you tell me what happened? Are you going through wonderful experience or a very happy experience?" She said, "Oh yes, Sifu, so wonderful." I said, "Yeah, what happened?" because she's one of my good friends and happened to be my student too, right? And then she said, you know, I said, where did you go? She said, I went into the kitchen. I said, how long were you there? Oh, long time. I made so many dishes because she likes to cook. So she spent the last 6 days wandering into cooking. Cooking. I'm sure you folks probably have that experience, making cookies, banana bread without eggs, right? Everything. And I said, I think you have spent enough time in cooking. She said, you know what, Sifu, I have discovered so many new recipes. I said, you know what? You come here for meditation. You come here to learn how to actually understand your mind, to calm your mind, to really look at your mind. I don't want you to strengthen those habits. She said, but that is a good strengthening. She has all the reasons for it. She has all the excuses. But I said, you know, she said, can I have some paper and pen so that I can scribble down all those recipes? I said, no. I said, no, starting from now on, you will have to stop wandering into the kitchen, all right? She said, okay. So for 4 days, she worked hard. But I have had so many students, you know, some are artists and some are musicians. They said, oh, darn, I wish I had my paper and I had my pen. I can write down the song and the lyrics and the rhythm and everything. And it seems that when you wander, well, of course, sometimes those are really wandering, but sometimes when they don't wander, when they really don't wander, when they start to really calm down, those things will also naturally come. But one thing is, when those things naturally come, it's actually a good thing. Those could be a good songs, could be a good recipe, but at that time, the purpose of meditation has to come back. You have to be mindful. You have to recall. You have to remember why you are here. You're here not to create music. You're here not to create a new recipe. You're here to learn about yourself. You're here to learn about this mind. That is the right mindfulness. If you remember that, and then smilingly you bring yourself back. Otherwise, people will then what? Will churn into that wave. Will go into that wave and churn in, you know, keep staying in there, churning up the whole kitchen or the piano or the saxophone, whatever. So that is then, at that time, that is not a mindfulness practice. It's gone from there. Okay? So it's actually very important to be at the present, okay? So I want to share with you one wonderful teaching by a renowned master Mazu, okay? Mazu actually was a very renowned monk in the old days, in the 6th century. Okay, 6th century or 8th century? 709 is 6th century, right? 8th century, okay, 8th century, and he was the 5th patriarch of the lineage in the Chan tradition. And one day his students came and asked him, Master, how should we practice? How should we practice? In what way should we practice? You know how Mazu replied to them? It's actually so inspiring. Next 2 lines, please. Eat when hungry, sleep when tired. So he said, sleep when hungry, eat when tired. 餓時食飯，困時眠. So he said, wow, then you would think, I do that all the time. But how come I'm not a Chan master? How come I'm still a wandering mind? Why? Can you tell me some reasons why? When we are not enlightened, we are not liberated yet?
We eat when we crave and we sleep when we're snoozy and lazy.
I like that. You know what Eva said? We eat when we crave. We eat when we crave. We sleep when we feel lazy. Right? Yeah. So also, when we eat when we crave, and we eat and we crave. Right? So it's 2 different things, right? We eat when we crave, but we eat and we crave. So, and we are actually not eating. A lot of times, we are not eating. We are thinking about this, we're thinking about that, and we are talking about this, when we're talking about that. And especially nowadays, when you go out to eat a dinner with friends or to eat a lunch with friends, okay, what do you want and what do you want? We all ordered, and then we get our phone out, and then we start texting. Right? So we eat. Yeah, it seems that we are eating, but we are multitasking, so-called. Give it a beautiful name. We call itself multitasking. It is not multitasking. It is wandering. It is wandering. So when you eat and you talk, you are not eating. And you are neither talking. Right? So he said, eat when hungry, sleep when tired. It's actually very, very difficult to be total-heartedly eat when hungry, and totally heartedly sleep. When we sleep, we wandered. That's why we dreamed. When we eat, we wander. That's why sometimes you feel, hey, how many bowls of rice I have eaten? Or, oh, I'm full, but I still want more. Or, we are really not eating because we don't feel the food in our mouth. We don't feel when we chew. Hiccup. And we don't feel when we swallow. It's just not at the present moment. I think that video kicked up our computer system tonight. Everything has gone wrong in the Dharma hall, So you are looking at a willow tree, a dragon willow tree at Po Lam, a beautiful dragon willow tree that I planted 24 years ago. So, another big tree, not really tall, but wide. Okay, thank you, Paul. That is even better. We start from scratch again. Anyway, okay, so Master Machu said, eat when hungry, sleep when tired. That means you need to what? You really need to have this continuity of mindfulness. When you eat is really eating. And sleeping is sleeping. Don't sleep and wander. And don't sleep and think. And don't eat and wander. And don't eat and talk. And don't eat whatever, So eating is eating. No, you can move the PowerPoint? Huh. Strange, eh? Okay, so if we could actually start doing that, really be at the present moment and be continuous, mindful at this present moment, then when we are being able to be, oh, that's nice, that's another angle of this North America tulip tree. That's another angle. It is actually I think that was taken in spring. You can see the leaves are actually very, very tiny, very small, and very fresh light green color. So when we are actually very mindful at this present moment, how can we could actually reach a state, a mental state? We could be really at peace. At peace. So when we are at peace, how can we actually arrive to that state of at peace? How can we arrive to that state of at peace? And you have actually heard that from before. There are 6 A's. 6 A's. The first A is, anybody? It's okay. It's okay. First A is, you've heard about the 6 A's, right?
Aware.
Aware, that is, I think, the second one.
Anchor.
Oh, very good. You probably have written it down. Yeah, I know that aware is not the anchor, and then aware. Yeah, and then the third one is anchor what? Anchor your mind. Anchor your mind in the present. In whatever that you do, not necessarily in your meditation tool, only when you are sitting meditation, then in your meditation tool. But when you are in doing chores, anchor in doing chores. For example, if you are washing the vegetable, you anchor yourself total-heartedly in washing vegetables. Not splitting your mind like all over the place, okay? And then you are aware of you washing vegetables, touching vegetables, and how's the water feel, how's the vegetable feel, and all that. And then you acknowledge that there's such things happening. You know, especially when you are meditating, you anchor your mind on the breath, and you become aware of the breath, the depth of the breath, the length of the breath, and all that. And then you acknowledge, okay, this is my breath. This is a long breath. This is a short breath. This is a deep breath. This is a shallow breath. Or this is a tense breath. This is a very heated breath. You acknowledge that is there. With acknowledgement, that is actually there is in acknowledgement that actually there is some analysis there. You start to actually understand that mind. That object there, analyzing. Next one. Okay, so, no? Okay, so you start to actually understand it more about your actual existence at that moment. And then after you analyze, then you understand it more. And if you could keep a very observant mind, still very aware mind at that time, and you know this is the way the experience is, and you try to accept it, accept the experience the way it is, and when you accept it, if you're able to accept it, whatever that experience that you experience at that moment, if it is a very unpleasant experience because of your acceptance, you're able to let it go. But if you are not able to actually accept it, and that process just stop there. If you don't accept it, that process stop there, then that whatever that has arisen, let us say, for example, like anger, if it has arisen and you cannot accept that you have anger, or you have guilt, or you have shame, if you cannot accept that, that process of purification or the process of sedimentation stops there. When that it stops there, what happens to that emotion? What happens to that emotion? It goes back down, right? It goes back down, it goes back in. So that's why with people going through anxiety, depression, all those, because they can, with these few stages, I don't know how far they can go. But a lot of times, even though they are able to anchor themselves for a short while, be aware, acknowledge, analyze, but they are not able to accept that experience, accept the way that they are at that moment, and they want to be something else. And that actually got pushed in and also and also strengthened. Because that is a reaction. That is a reactive behavior to not accept that experience right there. So I have seen the people like that with very strong habitual reaction is, they don't like such thing, they don't like such emotion, then when it arises, it's out you go. Oh yes, out you go, yes, it goes back right in, and because you say out you go, you give it more power, you give it more strength, you strengthen it. So that's why the Buddhist is so wise to actually teach us all this. These are the aids that I actually made it up myself. I think this is the process of really purification. And only if we are able to let go, then we are able to actually lessen our burden. Otherwise, it's impossible to lessen the burden. Okay, so I want to also. You have anything on this? Anything? Anybody want to say anything about this before I go on to the next? Yes.
Can we learn to abandon if we know that whatever emotion is coming up is hurting us? Can we learn to abandon that more quickly so that we're spending less time in analysis or
learning by what do you mean by learning?
Without just rejecting it. Like, is it possible to understand?
Of course.
There's this anger, and I need to abandon it without rejecting it. Just understanding that this is not healthy. It's not what the Buddha said is a helpful state of mind.
Of course, it can be. What Eva was asking: can we learn to abandon? Can we learn to abandon? Can we learn to give up these emotions or whatever that has arisen? Of course, it is possible. You are learning by your everyday experience, right? But at that moment, it's not about learning. It's about acting. Whether you are acting or responding in a very mindful way, or you are responding in a very unmindful way, right? So that is the trick. You of course you can learn. Sitting down to meditate is learning. Listening to Dharma talk is learning, and seeing people doing it is learning. Yes, it can be learned. But so many people have learned so many things. But why is the world still so crazy? Why? You can see so many people, like talking about riots, talking about protests, talking about a political war. Those are all very elite people. Or you can call them, some of them are affluent, in the affluent society, in the affluent class, right? You know, some of them are professors, some of them are doctors, right? They learn a lot. They are they have very high standing in society. But when it comes to some value system, why are they all crooked, all lopsided? Why? Because what they learned, they actually is just the knowledge, but really it's not a mental work, right? This is how I see it. So they don't even, I mean, don't say that ask them to let go. Accepting is already difficult, isn't it? And when they analyze, they will analyze with their own crooked perception and concept in the wrong way. So they stop right there in that analyze, or even earlier than that. So, you know, of course, these 6 A's, they all interweave with each other. They integrate with each other, right? And it's not just, anchor and then aware and acknowledge. And, you know, it is continuous. This anchor and aware and acknowledge and analyze, it has to continue before you get to the last abandon stage, right? If in the middle of the process you will not anchor anymore, then it's gone. How can you go on? Right? Get it? Yeah? Good. Okay, so I have actually translated this poem, but I write down the Chinese in case you folks have a better translation. Just let me know, okay? So this is actually a poem written by a very renowned Confucius practitioner in the old days, Chinese. He said, eat when hungry, sleep when tired. It's just almost the same as the Maju. And this is occult beyond belief. To tell the world which doesn't believe. If you tell the world, eat when hungry, sleep when tired, the world doesn't believe you. Because they keep looking for the divas and goddess from the outside. You know what I mean? You know what he meant is people constantly look outside for things, for whatever things, the god and goddesses, and the divas and the goddess. And but when you tell them everything is within, everything is down to earth, within, grounded, they don't believe this, because that is not their perception, and they don't understand it. So I translated it, but may not be the best translation. Maybe I can use Google Translate next time, eh? see what Google Translate give me. Yeah, I never thought about using Google Translate to translate all these poems. maybe yeah, maybe they will do a better translation than me. So this is actually very simple meaning behind this is to be present and to be focused at the present moment and stop wandering. Because when you are at the present moment, you actually would not pay or do not pay so much attention to the past, and you can easily let go of the past, and you won't calculate too much about the past, and you will not spend too much time in thinking or dreaming or daydreaming or fantasizing or all those about the future. You are here. So you don't start worrying too much about the future and everything, so you're here, just here, and that at that moment, it could well possibly, your mind could become very clear and quiet and subdued, and at that time, with a clarity, with a subdue and quietude, that mind could be very well at peace, and you could really feel, that peace and calmness at that moment. And we know that nowadays with all this scientific research, we know that with the mind and the body being connected, united in this present moment, and be very mindful. They said, as the scientists just said, it brings longevity and well-being and happiness. So then, when we are happy, when we are happy, then we don't go into all these negativities, and we don't when we stop at that moment to actually commit any new unwholesome actions, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, or whether it's mental. And the less we commit, the less we make of those unwholesome deeds, the less seeds that we planted in those unwholesome seeds we planted, the more, the higher the possibility that after this lifetime, we wander less. Or at least the rest of this lifetime, we would wander less. Okay? This is actually a very rich passage. There's so much to talk about. And I think I have just talked about like the first couple of sentences. I haven't talked about wandering in the cycles of samsara. Right? Those endless cycles of samsara. Do not drown yourself in those endless cycles of samsara. So it's such a rich passage. So, Okay, all right. Reflections. Did you have any wandering experience? How did you feel when you noticed that the mind has wandered away? You feel angry, you feel happy, you feel elated, you feel depressed? Ask yourself. And how would you want your mind to be like? How would you want your mind to be like? You want your mind to be like a wandering mind? Or you want your mind to be like a focused mind? Or you want your mind to be really a focused mind? Ask yourself. Or if you think of many more questions, put it in. And look at it, once a week and ask yourself, how much less I have wandered this week? Or how much more I have wandered this week? It's not an easy question to answer. Okay. Oh, sorry, overrun. I think we need 15 minutes more for this Dharma talk. 1 hour is really just not enough because we have interaction. So we change the timetable, please. 8:15. All right. Okay. So any sharing, anything? Give you a couple of minutes. If you want to share something about tonight, if you have any insight about tonight. Don't be shy, come on. When you're allowed to talk, you don't talk. When you're not allowed to talk, you want to talk. Yes.
I really like the poem that you put up. Because it's
The last poem?
Yeah.
Ah.
Because if you can't convince yourself that you don't know if you're hungry or sleepy, then you can't convince yourself that you have the brilliance or the quietude in any of the heavenly realms.
Ah, okay. Eva said, I don't know whether I can actually repeat what she meant, what she said. She said she really likes the poem. She said, if you really do not know,
if you can't convince yourself,
if you cannot convince yourself
that you don't know,
or that you don't know that you are actually tired or hungry,
then you can't convince yourself.
Then you cannot convince yourself that there is this innate ability of quietude and calmness and brilliance. Yeah. Devas and goddess, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's why I love these poems. I like these poems. I always, when I teach in Cantonese, I use a lot of these poems. But you see, it's very difficult. I need to translate them, and sometimes I'm not up to par to translate those wonderful teachers' poems. They're enlightened, and I'm still like a mundane, crazy person. So it's really very difficult to translate some of the poems. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Eva. No? No questions? Okay, Ivy? Yes. You want to share?
I just want to thank Sifu because last time we meet you this way to home in Chinese
in Mandarin, yeah.
Yeah, you have different things to share. So every time you have so many one teaching that I can learn from there. So I'm so happy.
Thank you. I remember. I started doing this book in Mandarin, and it's different because it's different group of people. The interaction is different. It brings out different things to talk about. So I'm surprised that it's such a rich, interactive dialogue. I like this. Even I was wondering, I was worried in the beginning to do this book because I like this to be interactive, and with a small group like this, and you are so shy, and I don't know how it will get on, but it seems to be getting on really, really nicely. So you have to stop me if I talk too much and give you opportunity to talk, okay? Yes, you have to stop me. It says, Sifu, stop, let us talk. Because it's meant to be interactive, It's meant to be interactive. I really like these sessions because this book was really, all these things are by me, so it's really very close to heart. And I really did not need to prepare too much. I just need to look at the passage and look at the pictures and, just put something in and then just on the go. On the go. And teach on the go. And it's more relaxing too, isn't it? Yeah, not too serious. Okay, all right. So go home and reflect. Did you have any wandering experience? And how did you feel when you wander? And how would you want your mind to be like? Okay? All right. Then we can dedicate our merits. May these blessings extend to all, that we with all the other living beings together will attain the Buddha way. May we wish more and more people will encounter the wise words of the Buddha, study them, understand them, practice them, and help themselves to liberate from their own entanglements and defilements, and be truly and ultimately be free and happy and peaceful. May you all be well and happy.